Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. The following is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the official courtroom testimony from the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, as reported by Inner City Press. What you're about to hear isn't a leaked clip or online theory. This is what was said under oath, with the world watching. No one saw it coming. The room was tense. You could hear the scratch of pens, the click of recorders. Journalists hunched in their rows. Lawyers murmured last-minute strategies. Then the side doors creaked open, and in walked Will Smith. No entourage, no legal team, just him, alone. Gasps echoed. The judge paused mid-sentence. One of the jurors leaned forward, visibly shaken. Even Diddy, casually lounging moments before, straightened, his face stiffening. There was no announcement, no scheduled appearance. Will hadn't been subpoenaed. He had asked to come. He walked slowly, deliberately, like he was carrying something invisible but heavy. And as he approached the witness stand, the weight of 20 years followed him. "I wasn't asked to speak today," he began. "I asked if I could." And in that moment, the trial shifted. What Will Smith was about to say wasn't on record anywhere. It wasn't part of the prosecution's plan or the defense's playbook. It was something different, something raw, a reckoning. He wasn't there as an actor. He wasn't there to play a role. He was there as a man who had stayed silent for far too long. "I've laughed on red carpets. I've won awards. I've made movies about strength. But none of that can hide what I saw, what I experienced, and who made it happen." He turned. Not directly, but slightly. Just enough. "You did," he said. What followed was over 2 hours of uninterrupted testimony. And it started with a party. "It came through someone I trusted. They called it a birthday celebration. Nothing wild. Just music, networking, something casual. I'd been to those before, but this wasn't that." Will described the moment he arrived. A mansion in the hills. SUVs lined out front. Security everywhere. His phone was taken immediately. They said it was for privacy, but I knew better. It was control. He was ushered into a dimly lit room. Music played. Not loud, but low and strange, rhythmic, hypnotic. There were mirrors everywhere. "It felt like I was being watched," he said, "but I couldn't see who was watching." Then Diddy approached him. He said, "Now you're part of the family," and smiled. But it wasn't warmth. It was ownership. Will followed him into a back room. "I thought we were going to talk business, but what I saw shook me." He described people performing, some celebrities, some unrecognizable, some too young, others watched like it was entertainment. "And Diddy?" he laughed. "It was normal for him, like this happened all the time." Will paused, swallowed hard. "I didn't know how to leave, and that was the point." A few days later, the first call came, blocked number. "Hope you had fun, Fresh Prince," the voice said, then silence. Then an envelope arrived, no return address, inside a flash drive. I almost didn't look, but I did. It was footage from that night. Will on a couch, eyes glazed, laughing. I didn't remember being that out of it. Behind the camera, a voice. Diddy's. "That's how we keep him." Will's voice cracked. I realized then I wasn't invited. I was initiated. The manipulation began, invitations to more parties. Declining meant consequences. Roles I was in talks for, gone. People I worked with stopped calling. Rumors started about my sexuality, my sanity, my marriage. He paused. Diddy never said anything directly. He didn't have to. The silence, Will said, was the cost of peace. For years I said nothing. I smiled through interviews. I focused on work. But every time someone spoke out, Cassie, Don Richard, Meek, I asked myself, why am I still quiet? He looked at the jury. Because Diddy didn't just ruin careers. He made people afraid of the truth. He leaned toward the mic. It wasn't just a video, that was the leash. Everything after that had strings. He described the pattern. Say no to a Diddy event. Next week, your greenlit project is gone. A sudden PR scandal. Gossip blogs with inside information. He didn't have to threaten anyone, he had systems. He described PR firms, producers, bloggers, people who owed him or feared him. In 2013, Will was set to front a global luxury brand. Final negotiations, first lookbook shot. Then gone, no explanation. 2 weeks later, another party invite. He declined, and the rumors started again. It was psychological warfare. You start feeling paranoid. Then you realize it's real. Will said he wasn't alone. There are others. Silent. Bound by contracts or fear. Then he looked straight at Diddy. You didn't collect people, you controlled them. He described industry events, charity galas, streaming platform executives handing Diddy USB drives. Only you have the final cut, one whispered. Will didn't reveal what was on the drive, but he didn't have to. The implication was clear. This wasn't networking, it was gatekeeping. He saw artists laugh too hard at Diddy's jokes, defer to him. They weren't friends, they were survivors. He thought speaking out would blacklist him. But I realized I already was, quietly. He stayed relevant because of his fans. That's what Puff couldn't control. Then the tapes surfaced. At first I didn't believe it. Then someone I trusted called. Will, you're on one. He described panic. Sleepless nights, replaying old memories, it all connected. It wasn't fear that broke me, it was humiliation. He called the prosecution himself. I was done hiding. He heard the tape, behind closed doors. I sounded drunk, no, drugged. Laughter that wasn't mine, voices saying my name, doing things I can't repeat. He looked at the jury. There's a difference between being embarrassed and being stripped of your humanity. His voice cracked. I never agreed to be part of that, but he recorded it. He kept it. Maybe to use, maybe just to have. Panic attacks, sudden anxiety, names that triggered flashbacks. I wasn't crazy, I was remembering. Then came the final blow. If you want to know how powerful he is, ask yourself how someone like me could be silenced for 20 years and not even realize it. By the time media reported his testimony, Hollywood scrambled, hashtags exploded. Studio promotions paused. But none of that mattered. I'd already lost my voice. Calls and texts poured in. Some thanked me, others warned me. One said, "You don't know who you just declared war on." He mentioned names. Kevin Hart, Meek Mill, Lucienne Grange, carefully, legally. This isn't just about Diddy. This is an industry built on silence. He expected backlash, denials. But if I was lying, why wait this long? Why now, when I have more to lose than ever? He stood, looked at Diddy. You built an empire out of manipulation. You called it culture. You called it love. But all you built was fear. He pulled a photo from his pocket. Me, in 2004, before the first party? That man, he didn't make it back. He turned to the jury. If you think this is just about one night, you're missing the picture. This is a network, and it won't stop unless we stop it. Then he looked at Diddy. You once said no one parties like you, well, no one lies like you either. He picked up his things, walked out, no wave, no comment. Diddy sat pale, silent, shaking. Will didn't look like he'd won, he looked like he'd finally stopped running. The courtroom was stunned, even the judge had no words. Some jurors wiped their eyes, the silence was sacred. Outside, the world reacted, meetings cancelled, agencies scrambled, PR firms whispered. The dam had cracked, and the flood was coming. Will didn't return to work. He stayed with family. One friend said, he's healing now. For the first time in years, he's not pretending. The judge ended the day with a line no one expected. This wasn't just testimony, it was a reckoning. The last shot, not Diddy, not Will, the jury, motionless, processing. And in that stillness, one thing was clear. The era of silence was over. If this shook you even a little, imagine what else they've buried. Subscribe and follow this channel, because silence protects the powerful, but truth exposes everything.